From the floor of the CME Group, this is Danny Riley on this Wednesday, January 13th. You know, we're exactly where we've been all year long, and exactly where we were at the end of last year, going higher quietly. There's not a lot going on here. Over in the 10-year note options, they've got about 50,000 volume. But yesterday, they had 100,000 traded on the screen and 150,000 traded in the pit. That's big stuff. Over in the Eurodollar options today, we have about 300,000 traded. As far as what's going on in the S&P index, we're smack dab into the middle of the Jan expiration. According to the Jan S&P cash statistics for the January expiration, it's an up week, and we think with all the selling activity that went on yesterday and a little bit of this morning, that it'll be offset by the positive statistics going into the end of the expiration. Right now, the way it worked this morning was we opened up after yesterday's close. We had a firmer close. We closed around 11:33. Then we opened up like 3 higher today, and immediately after we opened up, the market rallied a little bit and then sold off. But you know what? The patterns remain the same here. The amount of money flows going into the stock market remain at very, very high levels. In fact, I think it's like at a 50-week high as far as money going into stocks. So as long as that's going on, the sell-offs are going to be bought. And the way these guys in the pit treat it, they see the market up, they get short, the market sells off, and if they don't cover, they're part of that buy program that we talk about. When the stops come in and as the premiums widen out, the buy stops elect the offer side of the futures, which in turn elects a buy program. Now, just a couple minutes ago, something really big happened here. There was a trade that went up in the S&P after the S&P got up to about 1135, 1136. It went up to made a new high. 1136.60 was the high, and then they popped into a new high by 20 cents, 1136.80. After that, the S&P pulled back a little bit and then started going back up. And one of the guys at our desk said that they thought like 10,000 minis traded on one clip. And actually, we just pulled up CQG, and what is it, Jason? 230,000 traded. 230,000 minis traded in 1 minute. So these are the types of things that are going on in the floor, but they're not necessarily market moving. We don't know if that was a buy, an outright buy, or a sell, or a hedge, or whatever it is. Well, anyways, the rest of the day, we still think we're going up. There's really no selling activity. The way we see it is above 1141, we should start to hit some buy stops, and then again above 1148. We still have the 1150 level as one of our upside targets, 1150 to 1153, and then the 1180 to 1185. And to tell you the truth, we don't see any reason why the market shouldn't go up there. Right now, we've got about 6,500 big S&Ps traded in the pit. The pit's got about 100 and something locals in there, kind of going down a little bit as we go into lunchtime. And as far as the mini volume is concerned, we have about 1.3 million on the day. And other stuff going on, you know, I think we're all pretty well informed about what's going on in China with Google. They've been, certain attacks have been hitting Google. And as far as the rest of the news, the markets are pretty much quiet. As the other part is that we're looking at these testimonies about the credit crisis with Lloyd Blankfein from Goldman on, saying that they didn't have any heads up on what was going on in the beginning of the crisis. But we all know that that's not true, because they made billions of dollars as the markets were folding down. We don't really know what to say for the rest of the day here, other than we think the markets are going up. It's really quiet here. We haven't kicked into any nothing's really changed here from last year to this year. You know, I think a lot of guys were expecting that maybe we pick up a little bit, that we get some type of sell-off, but it's just not happening. We're still seeing the same type of price action. It's that old back and fill, sell-off, back and fill for a couple days, and then go back up. You know, we want to give you something more to feed off here, but you know, we're just like you guys out there. We're subject to news. We're subject to world events, and right now the news, there's not that much news out there, and there's not many world events that are at least market moving. We'll be back tomorrow with more Top Stop.